Are you stuck on writing that first verse? Your riffs are good, but not leading into a chorus. You're not alone. Hey music makers, we've all been there. Sat at our instrument trying to figure out where to go next, or struggling to find the words to match a melody. Turning a spark of inspiration into a full track can be tough, but don't worry, because we're here to help. In this guide, we'll walk you through the process of taking a musical idea, expanding upon it, and refining it until you end up with a completed song. We'll tackle common challenges like overthinking, creative blocks, and finding the next step. You can find all the sections in the description below, so if you're at a specific step of the journey, head to the part that's right for you. Otherwise, strap in and let's get songwriting. Everything has to start somewhere. A single line of lyrics that sticks in your head on a walk, a melody you start humming in the shower. Inspiration can strike anywhere, and in many ways. If you're starting from scratch, the best thing you can do to find an idea is to simply play. Sit down with your instrument and just play some chords without thinking, or noodle out a couple of single notes. Get some paper, start writing freeform. You can let the words flow in a stream of consciousness mode, see what comes out. Or even just write about how you're feeling. You can even just try singing nonsense out loud to play with melodies, sounds, timing, and words. See what happens, have fun, and be loose with it. Don't overthink it. You can start to think about it more later down the line. As you play and as you write, you'll eventually notice something that stands out. There's your idea. Grab onto it to start building it into something more. Don't stress if it doesn't feel like much. We're gonna build upon it. The important thing is that you have something to work with. Creation is a process. Speaking of process, let's take a look at structure. A song is shaped by its structure. Work out where your initial idea might fit into a song. Perhaps it's a really good riff for a verse that ends up leading somewhere more dramatic in the chorus. Or maybe your idea is so powerful, it's got to be the chorus. If you know where your initial idea might fit into a whole, then you can start building on it and experimenting with where it could and should go next. Let's take a little look at what the different sections of song structure do to help decide where our ideas fit, and how that informs our approach to building the other sections. Verses set the tone of your song and establish themes or moods that the whole song will interact around. Often your intro will be a tweaked version of the verse melodies, or you can just jump straight into the verse. In many cases, this is the place where everything else in your song stretches out from. Here are some tips to approaching verses. If your song starts with a lyrical phrase, think about how to explore that concept more deeply in the verses. Don't be afraid to leave some things open-ended to keep the listener hooked. The resolution will often come afterwards, when we get to the chorus. This is the big triumph of the song, and the weight and biggest climaxes of your song should happen right here. Choruses are the emotional heart of your song, so they need to be strong, memorable, and clear. Make sure the melody's catchy and the lyrics are easy to sing along to, if you want a song that people can't get out of their head after they listen to it. Here are some tips for your choruses. Keep it simple and repetitive. This is where the audience should feel connected to your song. If you started with a hook, make sure the chorus is an extension of that. Choose memorable, simple lyric lines that will stand out and stick in people's heads. You can tweak your choruses as they return to make them stand out in slightly different ways at different points in the song. A final chorus with more instrumentation and emphasis can leave a really memorable mark as listeners come to the end of your song. But the biggest change for your song comes in the bridge. This is where you get to really change up what you've established with the verse and the chorus. It's a break from the repetitive structure of the rest of the song, and thematically, that allows you to do some interesting things here. You can change the melodic mood and lyrically lead the listener down a different path. A well-placed bridge adds a new dimension to your song and can make the whole thing feel more rounded. Here are some tips on bridges. Experiment with shifting the mood or the melody. Use the bridge to change up the rhythm or try new chord progressions. Okay, so we should now have some kind of a structure to our song that we've built with an instrument or lyrics. Where do we go from here? Just like a cake, a song needs layers. Flour's essential, but makes a pretty measly dessert on its own. It's time to start adding instruments to your song. You should have chord sequences for the different parts of your song now. It's time to start thinking about which instruments you want to play those backing chords. Guitar and piano are easy choices, but perhaps you want a unique sound that another instrument will give. Think about the rhythm and the playing style that you use for your chords. You could arpeggiate the chord, or perhaps you make a chord change half a beat off for a unique swing. Then you can start thinking about adding more instruments over the top of the chord foundations. Play with some simple melodies that enhance the feeling of your song. Play around with some different sounds and scales that match the key of your song to find a lick that brings your backing to life. Of course, you also want to think about percussion. Drums are a vital heartbeat to a lot of songs and keep a rhythm and help emphasis to rise and fall in certain places. The key things to consider here are starting with a simple idea on one instrument. You can build it with more instruments and playing chords and melodies in different ways together. If everything is played at the same volume or velocity, it will quickly feel difficult to progress with an idea. Softening the dynamics of a section contributes to the structure and gives a piece more movement. An extension of layering, you can start playing with harmony to add richness and depth to the track. This can be done through vocals or with other instruments. This section may raise some blockers for you. If you don't have access to certain instruments or you don't know how to play the instruments that you want to bring into your track, fear not, for there are solutions. The truth is, there's only one Jacob Collier. We can't all play all of the instruments that we want to include in a track. Thankfully, the people who can play instruments are happy to share the love with the world. There are near endless loops and samples available online, allowing you to take clips that other people have recorded to use with your song and build layers you wouldn't be able to do yourself. You will be able to find loops in many DAWs, and they're often customizable, so you can tweak the rhythm, melody, or try it with different instruments and sounds to create something unique from a solid foundation. Samples can breathe new life into a track, chopping up vocals, adding ambience beneath the tracks, or instrumental lines that suit the feeling of your track. The important thing to remember with samples is firstly, that the sample hasn't been recorded with your track in mind, so pay close attention to how you use it to make it fit your vibe and become your own. Secondly, you must ensure that you have permission to use any samples that you want to put into your song if you plan on releasing it. You can find a comprehensive library of high-quality loops and samples at RouteNote Create. This fantastic library of creative content is packed with genres, moods, and styles, so that whatever you're creating, you can find the sound to match yours. All of the content from RouteNote Create is copyright-free for use in your tracks. Just head to create.routenote.com. Lyrics are a vital piece in the makeup of many songs. They're the poetry that resonates with listeners emotionally, the catchy hooks that people can't forget, and the anthemic catchphrases that power a movement. You may be ahead of the game here and have structured your song with lyrics, but if you're yet to get the words that meet the feeling of your music, then this section will help you to get pen to paper. Or finger to keyboard, we don't judge. Let's look at some different methods that you can use to find inspiration for the words to use in your song. Find the one that works for you, or play with all of them. Some songs take the listener on a journey, telling a story. This works especially well in folk, country, and hip-hop, but it can be utilized in any genre. Try thinking about story structure, set the scene, create conflict and mystery, and think about how to resolve that as the song goes on. You can then use choruses as an emotional core to your story. Look at songs like Hurricane by Bob Dylan, Cats in the Cradle by Harry Chapin, and A Boy Named Sue by Johnny Cash. If you're struggling to find the right words, try free writing for a few minutes about the emotions you want to convey. Don't worry about rhyming or structure, just write down what comes to mind. Once you have a bunch of ideas down on paper, you can return to polish, structure, and pull rhyming into them. Sometimes lyrics don't need to say something if they sound good. If you have a strong melody but can't find the right words, start with nonsense syllables and gradually replace them with real lyrics that match the mood and flow. This technique is often used in pop and rock songwriting, but it can be a great tool for rappers to find a flow over a beat that they can introduce lyrics to after. If in doubt, remember the sound can be more important than the words. Just look at the Cocteau Twins. Instead of saying things explicitly, try using vivid imagery and metaphors to communicate ideas in a way that may come across as more artistic, mysterious, and colourful. Try to paint a picture with your words rather than saying exactly what you mean, unless you find that being direct works for your song. It's up to you. Call and response structure can make lyrics more dynamic, and they work well in genres like blues, gospel, and R&B. This can be a literal response between two vocal lines, or simply a contrast between the verse and chorus that makes it seem like vocals are interacting with each other as the song progresses. They say to write what you know, so experiment and see what comes out of you. Whether it's an intentional story or ideas that you didn't know you even had, coming out in a stream of consciousness. Alright, so we've put a lot of hard work into this song now, and it should have paid off into having a pretty complete arrangement of ideas and sounds. It's time to do some tidying. This can be a really good point to go back through your ideas, musical sketches, lyrics, and sample choices to check how you feel about all of the different elements. Here are some fantastic tips on how to review your own creations that are going to boost your creative process. It's easy to get lost inside something you're creating and become blinded by it. Endlessly playing back the same section of a song or reading the same lyric can numb you to it. Go away, take a break, the longer the better, and come back to it with fresh eyes and ears. You'll probably notice little things that you want to tweak, or even appreciate certain bits more than you were able to before. Try to come back to your ideas not as the creator, but as a listener. You can even go so far as to export what you have, privately upload it somewhere, open it up, and imagine you're a friend, family member, or even a stranger listening to it. Changing the context of how you listen to it can make you hear it differently and find things you didn't notice as the songwriter in the recording process. Getting other people to listen and feedback is a really important way to get feedback on your song. Other people will hear your song from a totally different perspective, and their opinions will come from a fresh place. Whether you take their feedback on or not is up to you, but understanding how something sounds to others can really help you improve upon your output. It's all been working towards this. Once you've finally finished your ideation, you can start making it a tangible concept. You may have already been recording through the earlier stages. You also might come back to any part of the process after you start recording to change things or come up with new ideas. There's no correct order to how you do this, so do it in the way that feels right for you. You don't necessarily need quality recording equipment to get started. Recording into your phone or using budget microphones are a great way to get your idea down and start building on it. You can enhance it by re-recording it with better equipment once you're ready. Or you might find that the lo-fi sound suits the vibe of your song. Just be wary of the difference between a lo-fi aesthetic and straight up bad quality when it comes to releasing your song. Try recording several versions of your idea. Change up the tempo, delivery, or even notes and chords to listen back and find the one that you feel is right. Saving these allow you to revisit it and think about what works best. Recording early can help you shape the song in real time, reacting to the elements as you produce them and helping you find out where to go next. The more you listen back and experiment, the more your idea will naturally grow into a complete shape. Whether you have the majority of your song recorded and ready to mix, or you're still building on ideas into your software, production techniques will help to refine and clarify your song and sound. If you use a DAW to record, you can play with things like MIDI instruments and plugins to build upon your sounds and find a direction that you like. This can bring fresh ideas into the track as you record your instruments and vocals. Adding things like reverb, delay, compression, and distortion to different elements will really bring your track to life. If you'd like us to do a video that explores production and mixing your tracks in more detail, then give this video a like and let us know in the comments below. Your production software also allows you to play with your arrangement. You can move things around with ease and experiment with putting certain elements in different places and building impact. Play with things like the volume of your tracks to give emphasis in certain places, or to bring out certain tracks in a particular place. Here are some top tips to think about with your production approach. Try introducing elements of your track gradually to build up momentum and impact. Consider starting with a stripped back section and slowly adding layers. A verse might feel more intimate with less instruments. This can really help distinguish the build-up of a verse and the power of a chorus. Why not gradually add more to each chorus so that the final chorus feels like a really impactful moment? Subtle rises, drum fills, filtered effects. Jumping directly from one section to another can be jarring. Use certain instruments and layers to provide a transition from one section of the song to the next. Gradually increasing or decreasing the volume in a section can create emotion, drama, and build-ups. Similarly, applying a low-pass or high-pass filter that fades in and out over time can create a sense of something breaking down or building up towards something. Move elements between left and right using panning to create a sense of space. Panning is a really important part of mixing that should be explored more in terms of how you place certain instruments to interact with others. Even a slight shift in how the different parts of your drum beat play can keep the momentum or maintain a freshness that stops the beat from going stale. If you're painting your instruments in with music software, then it can become subtly inhuman with how accurate notes are played directly on the beat. So try placing some notes slightly off beat to create a more naturalistic feel. Drop out of the beat for a moment to create a dramatic pause that then has even more impact when it kicks back in. Similarly to dynamic breaks, taking elements out for a time can ensure they maintain a feeling of power and importance when they come back into the track. Turning an initial spark of inspiration into a full song takes time and not a little bit of effort, but it is worth it for producing something amazing. Keep experimenting. Never be afraid to change direction at any point in the process. And remember, if you lose faith, to trust in the process. Once your track is complete, upload it at RouteNote to release it on all the biggest and best digital music platforms around the world. RouteNote is your next step after song creation to reaching a global audience that loves your music and helps you to take your career forward. Thanks for watching. We can't wait to hear the songs that you're going to come up with. If you'd like to see more videos like this, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Comment what you'd like to see next, and subscribe to the channel to stay tuned for more. Get songwriting, and we'll see you next time.